Hello, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to run your local Node.js application with the free static Ngrok domain. That means every time you start your app, Ngrok will also run automatically, and you'll always have the same public URL, and this URL is going to be secure. So there'll be no more changing links every time. Whether you're testing your webhooks, you're sharing your project with the client, or you just want to make your local app accessible online, this tutorial has you covered. So by the end of this video, you'll be able to expose your Node.js app to the internet with just one command. So a quick demo is here. You can see that this is my app running on a secure domain. See that? And this domain is loving extremely python.ngrok. It's a free domain provided by Ngrok. When you sign up for Ngrok account, you're going to get one free domain. So this is a web page within the Node.js app. So this is the app. I have the entry point of my application here, and for the UI I have these views. Then the UI you're seeing there is this HTML file. Then I also have one API endpoint so that I'm able to test this using Postman. So if I go to Postman, you can see that I'm accessing the same domain, and I'm able to get my data here. Then if I go back to the terminal, you can see that my app is running. So I'll just kill it. And if I come back to Postman and try to rerun this, you'll see that the app is not available. And if I go back even to the browser and just try to refresh, you see that it's no longer available. So the same way, I'm just starting my app because it's running on port 3000. So if I even refresh the 3000, you'll find that it's not there, which means the app is also stopped. Even the tunnel has been stopped. So I'll just come back to the terminal and run my app again with one command. So npm run ngrok, like that. You see that the app has started. Let me just zoom this. So server is running at localhost 3000, and the server is fully ready, and you can see that connected to Ngrok, and it's available at this domain, and this domain is being forwarded to my localhost 3000. So if I go back to Postman and just rerun this, you see that it's available within the same domain. And I go back to the browser, the 3000 is also back. And if I refresh this, you see that my app is back. So enough of introduction. Let's do the setup. So I'll just create a folder here for my project, since I'm doing everything from scratch. So I'll just call it node ngrok. Then I'll open this with the Visual Studio Code Editor. And I'm just going to open my command line. I'll also close this window so that I have enough working space. Let me just zoom this so that it's more visible to you. Then I'll go ahead and initialize a Node.js project, of course, with TypeScript. So I'll just do npm init, then -y. That creates a package.json for us. Then I'll go ahead and add the TypeScript. Let me just close this and expand the terminal for now. So after initializing, first of all, let me install Express. So I'll do npm iexpress. And then I'll install the dev dependencies. Let me just copy the command. I'll clear this, then paste this command. So this is going to install TypeScript as a dev dependency, tsnode.mon. So nodemon is going to be watching my application every other time I make changes. Then it is reflected in the live code. That is my server is going to refresh. So I enter. So let's wait for a few seconds for that to be installed. And then I set up the TypeScript or initialize TypeScript with this command. So npx ts init. That is going to create a ts config for us. I'm just going to edit this, so I will clear everything and just paste this code. This is enough for our application, which means that for the development purpose, it's going to be a src, and that is going to be compiled in the dist folder. Then the other thing I'll need is the .env, because I'll be using environment variables. So npm i.env. So as that is being installed, it's installed already. I'll go ahead and start creating the folder structure of my project. So let's have src. Then inside the src, create app.ts. For the HTML, inside this.src, I'll need views. And then I just inside the views create index.html. That. And they have a pre-made code, so I don't want to spend my time on HTML writing everything from scratch. So I'll just copy and paste it here. Then maybe quickly take you through. It's using Tailwind CSS for under styling, and this is the UI that I'm going to display. So later I'll also get the JSON data from this URL. So inside the app.ts, I'll go ahead and create my routes, because later I'll just create a server that is going to serve the whole. This I'm going to create server.ts, which is now going to serve my application. That is going to be useful in the production, but I'll also create Ngrok server so that within our development environment, as we are testing out stuff and we want our application to be available in a secure public URL, then we shall use the ngrok server.ts. So I will import Express. From Express, I was hoping to use autocomplete here. Then I'll initialize this Express. So I'll assign it to a variable known as app. Then app is going to call the express. Then that I want to serve my HTML content. So for that case, let's just pass comment here that says serve static files. Static files. Then to serve static files, I'll use app .use method, and what we are going to use is the express.static method to serve our files. So I'll call express .static, and then I'll need to use the path package from path, that is the Node.js package or module. So path.join, I first need to import it at the top, so import path from path. So path.join, and this should join the dir name, so I'll pass the dir name, and the directory is views, which is just in the same directory as my app.ts. Sorry, views. Then what I want to serve is the index .html. That, so that is going to serve my HTML content. So after that, let's have a route, home route or the route. So I'll just pass an HTTP request here, which is the GET request, and then we have to pass a URL, which is the root directory. Then I'll pass a function, an anonymous function here, which is going to be an arrow function. So it is going to have a request, so it takes in a request and a response. And then what I'll do, I'll just send the file content. So response.send file, which takes path, and then .join. Same thing that we did at the top, so I'll just copy this and paste it here like that. Then I'll just export this up. So export default app like that. Then I'll come and create the server. I'll just call it server.ts. So inside this server.ts, I now want to run our application. So before I do that, I'll create an environment variable file. So .env, and inside the env file, I'll need a port. For this case, I'll be using 3000. So save that. Then come back to the app. So I'll just initialize my server, create a constant and call it server. And this server is going to call our app. So app, and the method I want for the app is listen, so that we are able to pass our port. Now, to be able to use the .env first we need to initialize it or provide it capabilities to our application. So I need to import .env from .env. Then I'll need to call the .env, and there's a method known as a config. So by doing this, we are able to call our environment variables. Then for the app, I also have to import it. And then the .listen is going to take the port. So I'll just look for the port by passing a constant and calling it port, maybe in capital letters. So this is going to be the same as process .env dot the name of the environment variable, which is this port. Paste it there. So we pass our port. Then apart from the port, I just want to pass a function and log a statement to show that the server is actually running. So I'm just going to log some message here. I'll say that server, is running because it's going to be at localhost. I'll just pass HTTP then colon / so double / localhost, and then the port. So I'll need to use backticks here for me to be able to call this port variable. So I'll just change this to backticks and also close with a backtick like that. And then for us to tunnel our application, first of all, we need to make sure that our application is actually running fast before we call Ngrok to tunnel the domain or forward the domain to this URL. For now, I'll just run, but before I run it, I need to set up the nodemon. So within the scripts, I have the dev script that I'm going to create here, which is going to be the same as nodemon. So we want our nodemon to run the src server.ts. So it's going to be src. Inside this src, we want to run this server.ts like that. So let me save that. And to run this, then it's going to be npm run dev. So it's starting, and you can see that it's showing that our server is running at localhost at 3000. So if I open this in the browser, I should be able to get the results of the HTML file. So right now this button is not going to work. It's not going to do anything because I haven't actually connected the data endpoint. So if you look at my HTML code, we need to get this data from API, then data. So I need to create that. I'll do the same within the app. So app.get the URL is API, then data, like that. Then I'll just return some simple data here. So I'll just pass my controller, which is takes a request and a response. Then I just want to return a JSON object, so I'll do res dot maybe status. I'll pass some status, but it's not very necessary, of 200. Then JSON object. In this JSON object, I'll just maybe say the data is hello world. And save it. I hope that will now display our data, so I'll just refresh this. So the data is not being reflected. I wouldn't want to spend a lot of time on that, because it will beat the purpose of the application. Anyway, I'll just remove the status part. Just return the JSON only. Then I'll change this to message, because I just realized that okay, this is out of context. I'll also return a success, and this is going to be true. And the other thing I will want to return is a time, so that we can testify that this is actually working, and it is being returned at the different intervals. So we call the date method, and we want to change this to string, or convert it to a string. So our server is still running at port 3000. Anyway, let's not waste a lot of time on that. I'll just proceed and now set up the the Ngrok. Maybe before I do that, I can just use a Postman to test the data endpoint or a URL. So in JSON, I'm just going to create a new request. It's a GET request. Then it's in localhost 3000, then API data. So if I send a request here, it's saying 404, which means that something is wrong with this function, the data function. So the app.get, so it's the API. So I passed app instead of API. This should now work. You can see it's being returned here, and the time is 53:49. So if I refresh this, you can see it's 53:59, which means everything is working now. Even if I go back to the browser and do that, you can see that the data is being displayed. there. Good. So we are able to test the UI, and we're also able to test the API. So the next thing now is just serve a different file. So instead of serving our application through server.ts, I'll create ngrok server.ts. So I'm going to use the same approach. So I'll just copy this and paste it here. Same approach, but we are going to change a few things. So let me just kill my app. And if I go back to Postman, you can see that the app is down. And if I go back to the browser, refresh this, you'll see that the app is down. So I'll visit the Ngrok website. Okay. So there's the spelling. I'll go ahead and log in because I already signed up. So when you log in, you're able to access your dashboard. There is the setup and installation here. And you can see that we can use it with different SDKs. We can use it with different agents and also different infrastructure. We are interested in Node.js, of course. So if I click on this, you see the process of running this is here. And then this is very limited. It's not going to actually help us to achieve the purpose of the tutorial. Because we want that when I run the app with one command, the server starts running, and also Ngrok forwards the static secure public URL to our local host, and our app will be available over the internet. So I'll go back to the docs and dig more. So if you click on Ngrok Node.js guide, there's more steps here. Full configuration is being shown here. And then there is different functions that you can have. There is the connect function. So the connect function takes this configuration. So if you click on the config, you can see all the properties that you can pass within the config object. So that is what we are going to use. But first of all, I need to install Ngrok in the app. Even if you visit the npm and search for Ngrok, you'll find it there. So this one here, and they've even given you the configuration process here. And I think we're just going to use this. This is enough for us. So first, copy this, then go back to the app. Let me just clear the terminal, paste that there to install it. And then down here in the Ngrok server, I'm going to start the Ngrok tunnel. So I'll create a function that I'll name it Ngrok tunnel, or start Ngrok tunnel. Start Ngrok tunnel. I hope that is the spelling. And this is going to be a synchronous function. So I'll do that. I'm going to use the try catch. Then I'll start doing the configurations. I'll go back to the docs, the npm. So the method I'm interested in is this one here, ngrok.connect. So I'm going to create this URL. Now, so I'll come here and say that const URL is the same as ngrok. Of course, I have to import that, and I'll use await. I'll come at the top and import ngrok from ngrok. That. Then I'll pass ngrok dot connect method, which is this one, which takes in an object. And here I'm going to pass the properties. The first one is the address. So address stands for the port that your application is running on. So this one is going to run on port 3000. So I'll just pass the port variable here because I have already called it or set it to the environment variable value, which is this one. Then apart from the port, we also need to authenticate this application or authenticate to ngrok. So that is where this auth token comes in. So if you click on that, you'll see that there is an auth token here. I'm just going to reveal this because I'll be able to reset it here after creating the video for the security reasons, so that someone else doesn't use my free domain, because you're only given one for free. So I'll copy this and just come back to my environment variable and create the environment variable for that. So I'll just call it ngrok. Let me call it auth token. Auth token. Like that. Then I paste that there. Save it. Then I'll come back to my server and pass the other property, which is auth token. Then I pass, of course, it's going to be process.env .ngrok token. Apart from that, I also need to pass the host name. Host name is another property. So if you want to dig deeper, you will just read the documentation. So the host name is now the free domain that ngrok provides you with. So if I come back here, I have the domains on the left. And if you're signing up for the first time and you haven't created the domain before, this is going to be empty, but you'll have this option to click to create a new domain. So you can see that please upgrade to get access to this feature, because they've already provided me with the free domain, so I don't need to create it again. So I'll go ahead and just click on that so that I'm able to copy from this section here. Then I'll come back to my app and paste my free domain there. And then I think this is enough. So once this is set, I'll just pass some logs to show that our app is actually running. So the first one I want to pass is that I'll say that ngrok tunnel established at this URL. So use the backtick, and I'll pass my URL. So I just want to console the URL. Maybe to make everything more beautiful, I'll just pass some emoji here to make my terminal more beautiful. The other one I'll want to pass, I'll just copy this log. I'll also copy another emoji, just paste here, and I'm going to say that my Ngrok is forwarding. It's forwarding now this URL or this domain to specific port. So I'll just use a hyphen and that greater than or right arrow key to show that this URL is being forwarded. In fact, I should take this and put it here. So this URL is being forwarded to my local host, which is just HTTP. Then / localhost. Then I'll also pass my port here, of course, as a variable. So I'll just pass my port there. And I think this is enough, maybe just to log the errors. So if there is any instance of an error here, so if there is error instance of an error, then I'll want to log that error message. So I'll just pass the log, and let me use backticks again here and say that error starting our app. So error starting maybe Ngrok tunnel. So this way at least you're able to find out where the problem is, and probably even debug with the help of AI. So I'll pass a variable here, which is the error. And within this error, I want the message that. If there is this no instance, we can generally just log the error itself. So the error is not known, so I'll just log again. I'll pass a backtick here, and I'll just say unknown error, and I'll use the backticks, not the backticks, but the $sign, and I pass my error variable like that. So we need to listen to the server events or the node event emitters, and only check if the server has already started running, so or it has started listening. To do that, I'll say server dot listen, not dot listen but dot on. So when the server is on, we want to know it's listening to. So the name is listen, that listening. We also pass a function, and within this function, we are able to log some results or perform some activities. So let's log that the server has started running, or the server is ready, because the server has started running at this point. So in this section, we want to inform ourselves that the server is actually ready. So I'll just use the backticks here so that I'm able to pass my variables. I will also use an emoji here, and I'll say that the server is ready, like that. Then only after the server is ready is when we want to now tunnel our application. So we are now going to call this function. So I'll come here and call the function. Yes, like that. Then there are other scenarios where maybe we are killing our application. So when we are killing the app, we also want to shut down the tunnel, because we may shut down the app but the tunnel is still running. So I'll create a comment here and say that shut down the handling, in that. So we pass this function, or we call the process .on, and the event that we want here is the signet. What is the name of this event? This one here. That is the event that we want. So we are just going to call a synchronous function here, which is going to be an arrow function. So when we are closing the server, we can log that the server is shutting down first of all. So I'll just console a log, console.log there. Then backticks. We want everything to be in different lines, because we are going to have different logs here. So I will use this. Sorry, I need to use the backslash here, like that. Then I'll just pass an emoji that gives us a warning that our server is shutting down. So I'll just type here shutting down the server, or shutting down the server and the tunnel. Like that. And then just pass try catch here. I'm going to call the tunnel shutdown. So the method for doing that is ngrok dot kill. So that is the method. So after killing the tunnel, we want to log something. So I'll just pass a log here and say that ngrok tunnel stopped. So I'll also use an success emoji, say that ngrok tunnel stopped, that. And then if there are any errors, then I'm going to just log those errors. I'll just copy this and paste here, and I'll save. Then I'll also need to, after shutting down the tunnel, I'll also need to shut down my ports. So I'll call server dot close method. this one is going to take a function, and it's going to be an anonymous function. So inside this function, I'll just console log that the server has been stopped. So after shutting down the tunnel, you will want to shut down the server. Then this function calls a process dot exit method, and pass 0. This means that everything will be shut down completely. So let's run now the command that is going to serve this ngrok file instead of the server.ts. So to be able to do that, I'll just come back to package.json, copy this, and I'll just call this ngrok. Then here the file that we are calling is ngrok server. Like that, then save it. So to run that, it's going to be npm run ngrok, of course, which is what I have mentioned as the key. So enter, and let's watch. Yeah, so you can see that the server is ready. Tunnel is established at this domain, and the domain is forwarded to port 3000. So control click this, open it in the browser, and you see that the application is available. So let me just zoom back to 100. Okay, let me zoom to 200 so that everything is more clear. So if I click on this, you see even the data is displayed. So if I take the same and just open a new ngrok, I mean Postman a request passing API. So I'm visiting the API, then data. See that our data is available. Then when I get back to the one running on localhost also and resend, see that we have our data here. Then even going back to the browser and just visiting localhost 3000, load this, and our page is available. So the domain is available, and you can see it's secured here. So if I go back to the app and just Control C to close it, see, shutting down the server and the tunnel. So ngrok tunnel stopped. And going back to Postman, trying to visit our domain, send a request. It's not available. When I get back to localhost 3000, it's also not available. Same thing happens to the browser. So if I refresh this, and you can see that ngrok is going to tell us that this is not available. Then if I refresh this also, this seems to be still working. It could be a cache. Anyway, so if I go back to the terminal, this actually didn't stop. Okay. So if I refresh, yeah, it's not there. So if I go back to the terminal and just rerun the command, it's going to start the server, and it's going to forward the tunnel. I mean forward the domain to the tunnel. So I make another send request, and everything is back online. So I go back to the domain and just refresh this, and we have that back, and also refresh that and we have everything back. So that is how you can simply set up Ngrok to work with your Node.js application with only one command. So following the documentation, you discover that you can still do the same within many other languages. So it depends with your area of specialization. So you can do that with Go, Rust, Python, Java, Ruby, and .NET. You can also do it with Linux. You can do it with Docker and the Docker desktop. So thank you for taking your time to watch the video. In case you have any questions, don't hesitate to put it in the comment section.